Hey there, welcome to What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility. I am your host, Pete Pardo. Today is Saturday, April the 11th. Welcome to another fun-filled, music-filled few minutes where we talk about some of the latest releases in the genres of heavy metal, progressive rock, and jazz fusion. We've got a kind of special show for you today. We are mainly going to be featuring some of the latest releases from the Nightmare Records roster. Our good friend Lance King, who some of you, or actually probably a lot of you know, is a very accomplished lead vocalist. He's performed with Balance of Power as well as Pyramids, as well as done some solo stuff. He's appeared on numerous albums over the last decade or two, and he's got a really, really great roster of artists on Nightmare Records, and he was kind enough to send us a bunch of the most recent releases over the last year and a half, 2 years or so, and we're going to talk about them today. First and foremost is the latest from Australia's Ilium. It's called My Misanthropia. And why is this extra special? Well, because Lance is now singing for Ilium. So you can expect his wonderful, soaring vocals on some great power and progressive metal tunes. This is actually a double disc set. So the first disc is the actual My Misanthropia album, and the second bonus disc is titled Wendigo, which includes some leftover tracks as well as a very fun version of Tragedy, done heavy metal style. Tragedy, of course, the Bee Gees classic. Not disco here, it's actually progressive metal at its finest. So I really like this CD. It's memorable, it's heavy, it's fun. Lance on a lot of the tunes, I think, has taken on a more aggressive tone. He's still quite melodic, as he always is, but I really dig this. You're listening to it in the background right now. Really, really strong. CD's got some cool artwork, as you can see here, if you're a metal fan, you like fantasy and sci-fi and all that kind of stuff, the artwork kind of goes right along with it. So, brand new Ilium, My Misanthropia. Make sure to seek this one out. We're going to go back. That's brand new for 2015. We're going to go back to some stuff from 2014 as well as one release from 2013. The next is Danish prog metal band Anubis Gate. And this is their most recent, called Horizons. They've had a bit of a revamped lineup over the last 2 years, but they're solidified once again. This is really, really strong. One of our writers, Scott Jessup, actually picked this as one of his favorite progressive metal releases of 2014. There's a good reason for that. This is really, really strong. Instrumentally, it's fantastic. The songs are memorable, heavy, catchy. The vocals are off the charts good. It's just all around top-notch progressive metal. And, this is one of those bands over the last bunch of years that just doesn't get talked enough when people are talking about some of the best progressive metal bands on the planet. So, again, Anubis Gate, Horizons, worth investigating. Highly recommend this. We're going to go to Norway now. This is actually from 2013. This is the most recent from Divided Multitude. Okay, and this is called, what is this called? Feed on Your Misery. Sorry, I'm not wearing my glasses. I try to wear my glasses for these shows because it just doesn't look metal enough. So, Feed on Your Misery. Divided Multitude. Now, for some of you prog metal fans who have been kind of following the genre since the 90s, they've actually been around for quite some time. They had a couple of really strong releases back in the 90s that I remember hearing when they first came out. Really strong. Again, another one of those just thrilling instrumental passages, plenty of heavy and melodic songs, really, really good vocals, top-notch band. Glad to see they're back doing new material again. Another, really, really great progressive metal band. For those of you who haven't checked them out already, I highly recommend it. Let's see, where are we going now? We're going to go to Bulgaria for Project Arcadia. Their new one is A Time of Changes. Again, kind of more in the power metal with progressive tendencies. This is their second album. This is from 2014. Some of you will like to know that if you haven't listened to this, features on vocals Urban Breed, who many of you know from Tad Morose and Bloodbound. So another really, really solid album, highly melodic power metal with some progressive tendencies. Project Arcadia, again featuring Urban Breed, who is another one of those vocalists that's just had a very, very strong career over the years. All right, let's go to Norway from 2013, the sophomore release from Tellus Requiem, Invictus, The 11th Hour. If you like Symphony X, Dream Theater, Fate's Warning, that really speedy, progressive metal, power metal tendencies, lots of ripping neoclassical shredded guitar. This will be for you. I really dig this a lot. A little bit different from some of these other ones, but really, really good. Yeah, again, Symphony X fans will love this. Highly melodic, heavy, epic sounding tunes. Really good. Again, look at this, cool artwork. Check that out. Another strong one. All right, we're going to go back to the USA now. Denver, Colorado's Dimension Revolution. This is also from 2014. Another really fine album. This is their third album. Again, a double disc set. Very melodic, progressive metal, some power metal tendencies as well. There's even two cool bonus tracks. They do the Beatles' Eleanor Rigby as well as Zeppelin's The Immigrant Song. So very fun, strong album. Dig this a lot. Really, really melodic. Well worth checking out. And I'm going to finish up on the Nightmare Records stuff today with a CD that kind of took the progressive metal world by storm last year, in 2014. This is Australia's Teramaze, and this is Esoteric Symbolism. Our very own Butch Jones just raved and raved and raved about this, compared it a little bit to Dream Theater, Tool, Periphery, amongst other bands. They just wow you with their instrumental virtuosity. It's very, very modern sounding, though. This is not, as opposed to some of this other stuff, which, like this, which is rooted in some classic progressive metal from the 90s and the early 2000s. This is extremely modern sounding prog metal. I really dig this a lot. It's just addicting. It's very heavy. Tons of great grooves. Addicting songs, memorable songs. The melodies are killer. The guitar work is off the charts. The drum work is just stellar. So, this is a band you're going to be hearing about for years and years to come. So, again, we've got some winners here. I mean, Teramaze, Dimension, Tellus Requiem, Project Arcadia, Divided Multitude, Anubis Gate, and Ilium. Some of the cream of the crop of the current progressive metal scene, all on Nightmare Records. So I highly recommend, if you have not investigated any of those, that you need to put that on your immediate homework list to do. So, nothing much else to say there. Check them out. Okay, now that we've covered some of those wonderful Nightmare Records releases, we've got a few others here to round this out this week. The latest from Black Star Riders, The Killer Instinct. Now, many of you will know Black Star Riders is basically the latest incarnation of Thin Lizzy. So Scott Gorham and friends, basically kind of taking the Thin Lizzy framework, without Phil, obviously. But vocals, song arrangements, twin guitars, classic rock feel. It sounds like modern day Thin Lizzy, as best they could possibly do without Phil Lynott. And I really dig it a lot. If you like their debut, you're going to really enjoy this one. It's just one song after another, really just memorable, catchy. Hard rock. There's some great Celtic themes going on at times. The twin guitar stuff is off the charts. And this has got a bonus disc. This is a double disc set. The bonus disc of some acoustic versions of some of the tunes. And, classy. That's all I can say. It's going to be a favorite of many come the end of this year. Where else are we going now? Impalers. God from the Machine. Really, really good Danish thrash. These guys have studied their classic German and Bay Area thrash to a T. So if you love, Destruction and Creator and Sodom and Metallica and Testament, Exodus, Megadeth, so on and so forth, this is highly enjoyable. Not the most original album on the face of the earth, but who the hell cares? It's just ripping guitar leads, just breakneck riffs, crazy acrobatic rhythms, rough vocals, it's just classic 80s thrash. I recommend it. It's good stuff. Let's see. Dead Earth Politics, Men Become Gods. This is an EP from this Texas band. Very impressive. There's only 4 tunes on here, but it's very enjoyable. You're going to be hearing a lot from these guys. If you can imagine, I wrote this in my review on www.seaoftranquility.org, a cross between Lamb of God, Megadeth, and Iron Maiden. It's kind of what you get. Really, really good riffs, galloping rhythms, powerful vocals. It's just all around solid. It's kind of thrashy, new American metal, new wave of British heavy metal hybrid, sort of. I don't know. It sounds crazy, but it's good. Be on the lookout for these guys. All right, we're going to go to Italy. Black Rainbows and Hawk Dope. Psychedelic stoner rock, proto-metal fuzz, you know, whatever. I mean, if you love classic Sabbath, you know, the MC5, maybe a little Blue Cheer, a little Monster Magnet, that type of thing. You know, Hawk Dope, the title kind of threw me for a loop. You know, I was expecting some kind of space rock, Hawkwind type thing, and not really so much. Psychedelic stoner, that's it. Great riffs, wah-wah guitars, you know, it's fun. I dig it. All right, we're going to go to Los Angeles now for this stoner band called Crowned by Fire, Space Music for Cave People. Funniest album title I've heard in a while. You know, again, nothing really original here, but a fun CD. If you love Black Label Society, Crowbar, and Corrosion of Conformity, that type of thing, you'll like this. It's solid. You know, it didn't exactly light my world on fire, but I like this kind of stuff, and I did enjoy this. And like I said, if you love stoner, rock and metal, you'll get some fun out of this. And we're going to go to Finland for some old school style death metal from Ravage Machinery, Subordinates of the Mechanism. I really dug this. These guys have kind of harnessed on that classic early 90s death metal sound, you know, bits from Florida and from Sweden. And, you know, it's not overly technical, but, you know, and they've done this kind of old-style death metal with a modern twist type of thing. I really liked it a lot. It's very, very competent. The instrumentation is stellar. It's brutal. It's, you know, everything you want in a classic-sounding death metal release from a new band. So, again, from Finland, Ravage Machinery. You dig it. Last on the new stuff, the latest from Loch Vostok, From These Waters. Another really exciting band from Sweden. They've been around for a bit. Their last couple of I've liked quite a bit. You know, some folks say they're a little bit too varied for their own good. You know, I don't think so. I like them a lot. I would call this kind of progressive extreme metal. So they do the clean and the growling vocals, really intricate, complex arrangements. The guitar work is excellent. You know, this band is headed up by Teddy Mauler, who some of you may remember if you kind of go back in time a bit to the early 90s, that progressive metal band called Myadome. He was actually the drummer for that band. He plays guitar in this band, so you can kind of see where the mindset is coming from. Very similar type of complex progressive metal, but these guys have added the extreme metal aspect to it. I really like it a lot. You know, it'll take a few listens to really get into because stylistically it's kind of all over the place. It's like they want to be kind of like this Dream Theater style band, but yet they love all the death metal stuff. So it's kind of like a mixing of the two. But I really dig it. I think it works. So chaotic at times, but very melodic at others. Really heavy, very progressive. If that sounds up your alley, then I highly recommend Loch Vostok. Good stuff. With that, we're going to change gears and we're going to go back in time. Forgotten favorites. I picked a very near and dear. They were all near and dear. That's why I'm featuring on this segment. But I happened to be working out to this at the gym the other day, and I was like, damn, you know, 30 some odd years later, I still love this album. From 1980, Blue Oyster Cult's Cultosaurus Erectus. One of their most underrated releases, in my opinion. Produced by Martin Birch. This was a very popular album by them. This is the album they were touring with Black Sabbath as part of the Black and Blue tour back in 1980. And, you know, this was just got, you know, Black Blade, Monsters, Divine Wind, Deadline, Lips in the Hills. I mean, you know, this is just classic Blue Oyster Cult style hard rock with some psych elements, a little proggy in spots, but it's fairly heavy. One of their heavier albums, I think. You know, just they're a hard band to pigeonhole. Really, just really intelligent hard rock, psychedelic rock. You know, some people call them metal. They're not really a metal band, never were, but you know, they can be heavy in spots. And this has always been one of my favorites by them. And actually, it's the first one I ever got. I was a 14-year-old kid back in 1980. This was my first Blue Oyster Cult purchase. And honestly, I think I purchased the LP because of the damn album cover, because I've always been a dinosaur fan. I'm like, what the hell is this strange-looking dino something on the cover? And lo and behold, I loved it. Even though, of course, I knew, you know, Don't Fear the Reaper and Godzilla and all that stuff. But this was the first actual LP that I bought from them. Now I got it on CD too. So, Blue Oyster Cult, their whole discography rules, but this is what we're going to talk about today. Well, we've talked about it already. So, anyway, with that, I'm going to get ready to leave you here in a second. I did want to let you all know that I checked out the latest version of Kansas last night in concert here in Orange County, New York, in Middletown, actually, at the Paramount Theater. It was a great show, about an 80-minute show. What's interesting, they've got a new guy in the band now on vocals, Ronnie Platt, I believe his name is, and he's taken over for the retired Steve Walsh. And I think he did a great job. He's got a really, really strong voice, and the kind of cool thing is that that's allowing them to now play live some songs that Steve Walsh just really either was unable or unwilling to sing for the past 10 or 20 years. So they dusted out some really cool tunes, from the Monolith album and some other tunes that they just haven't played in a long time. And it was a really, really good set. Of course they played the mandatory stuff. Carry On Wayward Son, Dust in the Wind, of course, was there. But they did a stellar version of Hold On. They did Alexis. They did all sorts of good stuff. Miracles Out of Nowhere. It was just really, really cool. I'm going to say this because I've kind of harped on this a bit in the past, but it just really frustrates me sometimes when you go to some of these shows here in the U.S. with these, classic bands from the 70s and the 80s, and it was a sold-out concert. There's probably a good 1,500 people there last night, and everybody was very respectful of the band, cheered every song when it was done. But I tell you, it just seems like some of these people just come out to hear Dust in the Wind and Carry On Wayward Son, or the big hits that you hear on the radio every day anyway, or you have on your greatest hits set. It's like the band is playing these great deep album cuts that they haven't played live in so long, and you just get the impression that half the people there had no idea what any of these songs are, but yet they're from million-selling albums like Left Overture, Point of No Return, and so on. So I don't get it. But I guess that's me. I love all those deep album cuts. I'm an album guy. I love all this kind of stuff. And I love to hear a classic band coming out and playing songs that you wouldn't expect them to play. For me, that's worthwhile because I don't want to hear the same set year after year after year. And, Kansas has been accused of doing that for a while because I think mainly based on what Steve Walsh can and can't sing. Well, now he's not in the band anymore, so they can explore a lot of those other tunes. And you just get the feeling that the crowds will come out, but they just want to hear those familiar songs. It's like, what are you going to do? I don't know. Guys, you did a great job. I love the show. Keep reaching back into that stellar discography of great tunes and keep pulling out nuggets from the past. And I will certainly tune in. So anyway, that's enough of my rant for today. I am Pete Pardo. Join us next week where we will be on location at Brian's Backyard Barbecue in Middletown, New York with owner Brian Rennerly, who's going to be talking a lot about all the exciting live music he's got coming on this summer, both at the restaurant and also in his backyard. So, and we'll be talking about some wonderful forgotten favorites, which are going to be based on some of the bands that are going to be playing at his place over the next few months. So anyway, join us then. Again, I am Pete Pardo for Sea of Tranquility. Visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We'll see you next time. Take care.